Hello, this is Keith again for the 12th and final editor video for a while. The editor is not technically finished, but it's done, which means I can make games with it. I'm trying not to stammer here because I tend to do that a lot. I'm not very good at talking on these things, but I am going to do it anyways. Okay, so the first changes I want to make note of is the fact that the entity and sprite tabs were merged, so it uses everything. If you remember, the old entity tab just had entities list box and nothing else on it. So I figured that that was just an inefficient way to use space. And now we have the project that used to be the map tab. If you remember, it had three here. It had this save, or it had one more button here, and it had the test level button down here. So I switched them to where they're all four up here. Dim overlay right there. And then underneath it, you can change your current map name, which you can tell by the button, and this displays the current map name. You can test your level. In fact, let's do that now, just like you could before. Okay. And this cool feature here is now you can mess with this level, this new map that I made. So essentially, a level and a map are kind of interchangeable because a map basically is your tile map with layers plus entities that are on the map. So it's really not that much of a difference. It's just how I put it on the it's how they put it on the screen. So now we can test this one. And as you can see, there's nothing there. This little white block has to do with the game I'm currently making. And since there's no enemies on this particular map, the block just stays right there. It's just a temporary thing, so it doesn't really have anything to do with anything. If you notice there's no entities on here, all you're seeing here is the map and the two layers that are drawn on. Okay. So, that's pretty much it, except for you can, I have a new feature for deleting entities, maps, sprites, animations, that doesn't automatically delete them until you commit to the changes. Sort of like a versioning software or whatever. But basically, new level, see? New level here, which means you'd have to make something with it. When you hit delete, it grays it out. And that's pretty much all it does, except for you can't change to the grayed out map. But you can still select it so that you can unflag it. And I should probably change this to flag or something, but I'm just going to leave it as is right now. Change it back to this new map. Nothing on here. Okay. Let's delete it again. Now, if you notice, it isn't actually deleted. It's just flagged. So when you save your game data, it's magically disappeared. Great, huh? Alright. So that's pretty much all it does now. This is not a game maker. This is just a level editor. Okay? A project editor, whatever. I don't have like scripting built in. Later on I might do scripting, which would mean that your game is based on your script. In fact, right now, if you were to well, originally if you were to run it, it would crash. The game would crash because you didn't have any of those entities on the map, so I had to make it to where you couldn't use them if they're not there, so they didn't crash on you. So basically what you have to do is, to create a new project, is you have to say copy the whole project folder and then gut out the internals of the actual game itself, so that it's not using nothing that's not on there. So that is basically the whole thing of it. There isn't a lot different. The layer stuff is still the same. You can show a layer, or not show a layer, stuff like that. You can clear it. The clearing thing was actually broken before, and now it's not. And like I said, this isn't very user friendly. Later on, I might do a thing where you have like a visual editor where you open up an image file and then you drag a selection rectangle and then put it into a sprite somehow or whatever. But I opted just to do this, just enough to get it working, that's all. But now I'm ready to make games with this. And also the GUI isn't very handsome. In fact, it's the code is pretty bad. So later on, I'm going to make a proper GUI in XNA for Xbox games, Xbox indie games, Xbox Live indie games, and but for the time being, I'm gonna use this for a game I'm making. I'm not going to do that yet because I still have some other projects to do, but at least this part is done now. I still have to work on controller input for the games themselves, and there stuff like sound and stuff. There's no support for sounds and stuff in my games currently, so I'll have to figure out how to integrate that with the editor or not with the editor. I'll decide later. And that's basically it. So thanks for watching. I wanted to mention that the deletion thing was because I couldn't figure out how to coincide saving the settings with loading a map that hadn't been saved, or game data that hadn't been saved. Like if you made a map and you deleted it, but you exited the program without saving the game data, and then you reloaded, the map would load, but you wouldn't have the extra settings data until somebody in IRC told me that I should be setting it all to default values, which I would normally do. That's what I do a lot of the times. It's just sometimes you're thinking of something and you're focused on something else, and you just don't. It just doesn't even come to mind. In fact, a lot of these bugs in here are things that I broke because of adding new features and stuff. It's just stuff that I wouldn't even think of. So when I actually try to run it, and then the bug pops up, and it's like, oh, another bug. But nothing too bad. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can also delete entities and animations and stuff, like I said in the other part, where it doesn't delete them until you actually save the game data. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Look forward to some game making videos later on. Maybe some more editor videos, like way on down the line when I'm actually working on it again. And thanks for watching, and talk to you later.